David saying that was like, but he really likes kids and human beings and people, and he wants kids not to be afraid of him.
James, we'll stick with the suit a little more with you now, because I love hearing about how these types of things evolve. So I am curious, what did you picture your Superman suit looking like day one, and how does it compare to the finished version everyone's going to see in the final film?
The only thing I knew is that I didn't want it to look too much like a wet T-shirt. You know, I didn't want to have muscles that were, built into the suit. I wanted to create, a world where metahumans actually existed, but that also they wore these uniforms for various reasons, and that it was, in a way, a uniform. So I just kind of went from there, working with Juliana, who did all my costumes for Guardians of the Galaxy, and just kind of taking it, bit by bit by bit by bit, until we ended up with the beautiful suit that we ended up with. And, also getting David's input, frankly. I mean, was, as we started to build it up around him, getting his ideas. One of the biggest questions was, were we going to have trunks, or we were going to, not have trunks? I talked to Zack Snyder, who was like, I tried a billion different versions with the trunks, and at the end of the day, I tried it, but I couldn't get there. And I was feeling exactly the same way. And Juliana and I talked, and she said, all right, well, I'm going to try, we'll do one version where we try both trunks and not trunks. I went in with David. He tried in not trunks, and he tried in trunks. And I still was going to go with not trunks. And then you said,
well, you wanted trunks in theory. You liked the idea of trunks.
Theoretically, I liked the idea of trunks because it's, Superman I grew up with.
But the problem is they look kind of silly. You were looking for a way to make them look cool, or you were looking for a function, an explanation for having them that would justify them.
Yeah.
And my thing was just maybe they're supposed to look a little silly. Maybe the reason he wears them is to look a little silly, basically to undermine how powerful he really is.
In this version of the DCU, everyone knows he's an alien. He shoots beams out of his eyes. He can blow things down with his breath. He's sort of this terrifying creature. And David saying that was like, but he really likes kids and human beings and people, and he wants kids not to be afraid of him. And so that was the thing that made me decide to keep the trunks.
I love touches like that, thoughts like that. It really does contribute to filling out the world and making it feel as real as possible.